And we've been together week in and week out since this snap election was called. We've been leaning into all of your insights shared by these veterans of Canadian politics in Manitoba. Dan Vandal is the former, as of today, Liberal MP for St. Boniface St. Vital. Good morning.
Good morning, Marcy.
We also have Erin Selby here with us at Sal's, former NDP MLA for Southdale here in Winnipeg. Hi.
Good morning.
And then Dorothy Dobbie, live, former Conservative MP for Winnipeg South and former Parliamentary Secretary. Hi, Dorothy.
Good morning.
So every week you three were with us talking about why you thought your party was the best to run the country, hoping for the greatest results. We now know what we're waking up to. We're waiting to see if the Liberals will win a majority. They have won a minority. Why don't we go here then, Dan? This is your party. Why do you think this happened last night?
Well, last night, first of all, was a great night. We've won at least a minority, possibility of a majority. Our candidate in St. Boniface St. Vital, Ginette Lavac, was elected, and Pierre Poilievre lost his seat. So that counts as a great night. I think Donald Trump really was the elephant in the room. I think he insulted Canada. He threatened us economically, threatened our sovereignty, and all Canadians looked at that as the issue that we have to deal with, and decided that Mark Carney was a much better place, was a much better leader to address the Donald Trump issue. And I think they voted accordingly.
Do you have to turn to Erin and thank her because this came at the expense of the NDP?
Listen, I think the NDP and Jagmeet did a great job over the last 4 years. We did great things for Canada, which is pharmacare, which is dental care, and other programs that are going to help Canadians. And listen, I have a lot of respect for the work the NDP did, and politics is a tough business, but that's the way it happens.
So how unusual is it that both of your leaders, Dorothy and Erin, I mean, this morning, have lost their seats? Jagmeet Singh, Erin, just to go to you next. Erin Selby obviously has said already he's not, he's not going to run again. He's stepping down as leader, rather. What's your thought on last night and how it shook out?
Well, I think that Dan said it, that this was really the Trump factor, so our vote got nervous and went over to the Liberals. But I do have to say I have a lot of former colleagues and former friends who were in the campaign, both as candidates and behind the scenes, and I'm really proud of how hard they worked.
How disappointing is this, and where does the NDP go from here?
I think we have to get together and figure out what the next steps are. I mean, Jagmeet said it last night that we don't stop. We still keep fighting for Canadians. I actually was hoping for a minority government, hoping that we would make the counterbalance so that we could continue bringing forward some really good NDP initiatives and making them happen. Unfortunately, that's not it, but we're not going to stop speaking. We always punch above our weight.
What's your reaction to the losses here in Manitoba? So Leah Gazan in Winnipeg Centre holds on. She's the only Liberal MP, NDP MP now in the province. Let's go up north, actually, for that first. Rebecca Chartrand taking that riding for the Liberals, Nikki Ashton, after 17 years.
That was a shocking one. I mean, we know that she's come close in the past, but I didn't expect that. I knew it was going to be tight, but I did think that Nikki would still come through. I was really confident that Leela Dance would hang on to her seat, and I'm quite disappointed. I'm a big fan of hers, and I wanted to see what she was going to do in Ottawa with a bit more time. Leah Gazan's got a lot of weight on her shoulders, but I know she can handle it. She's going to have to speak for NDPers right across the province. So
Erin's referring, of course, and the two of us referring to, we talked about Leah Gazan in Winnipeg Centre, but the NDP went down in northern Manitoba, so that's Rebecca Chartrand now, and then the Conservatives actually won out in Elmwood Transcona, so that's a new MP. Dorothy Dobbie, what are you feeling after last night? Your leader lost his seat. You did make a small pickup here. What are your thoughts this morning?
Well, I think first of all, we're not going to abandon Pierre. I think he's learned a lot in the last 4 years. And he's just getting started. He's still young and he's got lots of energy, and we're going to be okay. I want to first of all say, though, I'm very sorry for all those folks who lost in every party at the federal level. It's a very tough thing to do, and I hope all of the people that know them and support them, and those others as well, will be kind to them and will take them into their hearts. Don't cross the street when you see them. Come up and give them a hug and say, you'll be back, because I think it's very, very difficult for folks when they've lost. I just
want to stay there for a second because I like that you said that, because I often say after what does it take to put yourself out there like this? Like really, all three of you were
I have
nodding
always
vigorously when Dorothy said that, right? So
I have always said that campaigning for me felt like I was pulling my skin off, going to the door and saying, "Please pour salt on me."
wow. Okay, Erin's giving this some thought. What did it feel like? What did it feel like for you? In those years, win or loss.
Well, it's at the beginning. It's tough to knock on doors and to try to convince people that to vote for me or just to help the party or give us money, and it doesn't come to me naturally. But you do get into a rhythm and a zone where you get energy back from people, and then it gets going. It gets easier as the more you do it, the easier it gets.
So much
and
navigating.
it's like many other jobs where if you just keep
But
going, you'll get better.
The thing is that it's 367 days a year.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. And when you stop that kind of activity, it's very difficult for people because it's just like you fall off a cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's interesting, Dorothy. You're saying Pierre Poilievre. I was going to ask you if you think he should stay on as leader. Obviously, you're saying he should come back. Run somewhere else, get a seat, and stay on. Why do you think that the Conservatives didn't do better last night? What did
people were afraid, and they bought the story that only one man could handle Trump. I think if Trump hadn't been a factor, it would have been a very different story. And that's the way it is. It's a democracy. People look for where they think they're going to get the best return. We'll see how it goes. I'm not necessarily confident there's a lot going to change with Mr. Trump. He will do what he will do, as I've said many times. But in the meantime, we'll just have to get out there and stand up for Canada.
What's your reaction to the pickup that you did make last night? Colin Reynolds in Elmwood,
yeah, good for him.
Transcona?
That's amazing. That's really amazing. I'm delighted for that. And it's interesting that we've got 7-7. I'm very sorry. By the way, I hear the young Liberal woman, Chartrand, is a real,
Rebecca Chartrand in the North.
Yeah, real pistol that she's really good, intelligent girl. She's going to do a great job up there. And it was time for a change. It's been represented by the same person for a very, very long time.
And you're apologizing to Erin because I guess that was for the Leela Dance loss.
Yes,
in Elmwood,
exactly.
Transcona.
But
Now,
your
that was a
daughter
disappointment.
did very well, and even though it was in our riding, I wish she'd done better.
I did watch Winnipeg West very closely last night, and when she got her first 2 votes, the living room erupted.
And I got to tell you that I know that Marty said he wasn't going to run again, but we sure hope he does because
In
he's
Winnipeg West?
one
Yeah.
heck of an MP, just an amazing guy.
So let me ask you all this because we could dig into your parties, what went right, what went wrong, but I want to talk about unity this morning. Because a lot of people last night were saying, we haven't really seen, Canada, just basically put the NDP in that third place position. Across the country, it was really sort of a two-party race sort of emerging, and we're talking about some of the reasons why, an unusual election. Where do we stand this morning? Do we still have the capability to be unified, given what happened last night?
I think we do with Mark Carney as Prime Minister. I think the message was loud and clear. Canada's strong. We have to be unified to address the threats that the United States and their president pose to Canada. And I don't think we have a choice. I think most Canadians have spoken loud and clear that they want to get behind a strong leader who brings people together, and that's Mark Carney.
Can Carney do that with the Conservatives, Dorothy, especially here in the West and in rural areas? We still are waking up with that blue circle around Winnipeg. What do you think?
I think there's still a lot of votes to be counted, and so we don't have a final number yet. We just don't exactly know where we are. What will it be like going forward? It's going to be difficult to say because we won't have a leader in the House for the time being. But I think people want Canada to stand up for itself. Look for new markets, get out there and grow up. Come on, pull up our big boy pants and do what we should have been doing for a long, long time. Treat ourselves like a sovereign nation. Stop being so dependent on the U.S.
Dorothy's right. Obviously, Erin, we're all watching the numbers come in. We don't know if the Liberals will be in a majority position. What are your thoughts on whether or not what might be best for the country right now?
Well, we definitely will always be speaking up for Canadians, no matter how many voices are in the House. We are going to be doing that. And we saw that when Liberals worked with us in the last little while, we got a lot done. So I think, Canada is the number one priority. Looking out for people is the number one priority. And I think we'll continue to do that.
Although it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Bloc Québécois and where they're going to line up.
Right.
That's
Quebec
going
will
to be
probably do
the
quite
big
well
wild
in the
card.
next few years.
Because they'll
Yeah.
probably hold the balance of power, at least a good part of it.
What will a Liberal government down do for Manitoba specifically, given that some people this morning might be thinking the same as what we've had the last 10 years, so differently moving forward? What do you think those priorities are going to look like for our province?
Well, I think it's going to be focused on creating good jobs for Manitobans. Carney was here a couple of times during the campaign. He was at NFI to talk about zero-emission buses, which is incredibly important to the future of Manitoba and Canada. We've invested in Churchill. We've invested close to $300 million over the last 6 years after the Conservatives essentially did not invest and basically did everything they could to shut it down. So we realize we're an Arctic port. We're an Arctic. We're a port province with an ocean, and with partnerships with the province of Manitoba, we're going to invest up in the Churchill, especially with Rebecca Chartrand, who's a wonderful. She's going to be a wonderful MP.
Well, I certainly hope they take a look at Neaston and Port Nelson, because I really think that that's an opportunity for the Indigenous people up there to build their own economy and to have a second port that is 12 months a year, not just 3 or 4 months in the summer.
That's a longer discussion.
Well, it's a longer discussion, but I do hope your guys will be on side, because I think it's very important to our export possibilities.
Just last one word for the last 30 days, everybody, or 30-some days. I don't even know. It's May this week. I don't know what's going on this election, right? One word for, the ups and downs of the month. Like, how are you feeling this morning?
Relieved. I think I feel like many Canadians relieved that we have a mature, competent government willing to work for everybody.
Okay, we allowed you a phrase, so a phrase.
Excited.
Yeah.
Excited. I think there's so much still to come. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. Just watch us.
Erin?
Down but not out.
A good girl.
Thank you, three. We're going to keep you for a bit of a special discussion because someone on the panel has had their last day in politics after a very long time. So we'll talk about Dan Vandal after 8 o'clock on the show. I see a tear in your eye this morning. I get that. All I have is a Sal's napkin for you. I wish I had a proper Kleenex. Thank you, panel. Really thank you for all of your time on CBC this month.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
As mentioned, we have a special send-off for Dan Vandal coming up. Of course, he was a city councillor before he was an MP. Dorothy Dobbie's been with us, former Conservative MP for Winnipeg South, former Parliamentary Secretary. Erin Selby, former NDP MLA for Southdale. Dan Vandal is his first day today as the former Liberal MP for St. Boniface St. Vital. It ends a 30-year career in politics that started here, as I mentioned, at Winnipeg City Hall.